Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to take your sources, really get into them, and pull out the key insights just for you. Today, we're jumping into the world of contemporary romance, specifically looking at the latest from #1 New York Times bestseller, Elsie Silver. Our mission to really unpack what makes her writing tick and zoom in on her newest Rose Hill novel, Wild Card. We're going beyond just the plot we want to explore those character dynamics, the craft that makes these stories, well, so addictive.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating about Elsie Silver, and especially in Wild Card, is how she just nails the contemporary romance genre. She calls it sassy, steamy, small-town romance, right?
Yeah.
And she promises and delivers this amazing mix of, like, witty banter, rising tension, and that slow burn that, as she puts it, just comes to a screeching
Oh,
halt.
totally. It's so good.
And it's not just about tropes. She gives you these strong heroines and the kind of book boyfriends who are, completely undone by them. She really masters that whole dynamic.
Absolutely. It's that mix, isn't it? Familiar, but also somehow fresh. Elsie Silver, she's Canadian, and she's become this huge name, a #1 New York Times bestseller, by really digging into these character-focused small-town worlds that promise she makes banter, tension, and a slow burn that comes to a screeching halt. It's not just a tagline. It really is the experience. You see it all through her work, like the Chestnut Springs books, Flawless, Heartless, all of those.
Right, powerless, reckless, hopeless.
Exactly. And then the Rose Hill series, Wild Love, Wild Eyes, Wild Side, and now Wild Card, which is our focus.
And Wild Card itself, published by Piatkus, 2025.
Mm.
It sets the scene so well. Okay, so the characters and events are fiction, obviously, but there's this lovely map illustration by Laura Bourne from Source Books that kind of helps you picture the world.
Oh, I love those map illustrations.
Me too. And a really key thing is the narrative structure. It switches back and forth, right? Alternating chapters between Gwen's perspective and Bash's perspective.
Yeah, right up to the end.
All the way through chapter 43, and then Bash gets the epilogue. And doing it this way isn't just like a gimmick.
Yeah.
It creates this amazing dramatic irony because we know what each of them is thinking and feeling, often way before they tell each other. It just cranks up that emotional anticipation.
Oh, it definitely does. That dual perspective is so effective for tension. And, speaking of personal touches, that acknowledgement Elsie Silver wrote, for the ones who were told their dreams were too dreamy, but who went on to make them come true anyway, wow, it feels kind of personal, doesn't it? Like maybe it reflects her own journey a bit.
It really could.
Yeah.
And it definitely echoes the themes in the book, about believing in yourself, pushing through.
Yeah, you can feel how all these layers, the personal stuff, her skill with the genre tropes, just set you up for a romance that's not just fun, but actually like emotionally deep. You know you're in for a satisfying ride. Okay, so let's get into how they meet. The meet cute, which honestly isn't very cute for Bash at the start.
Not at all. He's having the worst time.
He's totally exhausted, coming off what he calls a crappy week. Then he gets stuck at this airport, Pacific Northwest somewhere, huge snowstorm.
Which the book points out is kind of unusual chaos for Canadian cities, apparently. Yeah. Less equipped for it.
Right. Lack of plows, de-icing, the whole deal. So he's just desperate for peace and quiet, feeling fully compressed, just wants to disappear. He is not happy.
And this is where Elsie Silver just shines with introductions. Because crashing into Bash's miserable little world comes Gwen, with her too happy voice and this shock of wavy platinum hair.
Polar opposite.
Completely. Her optimism is like, boom, right in your face. It is what it is. Gonna make the most of it. When life gives you lemons.
And Bash's internal reaction is just gold. It squeezes the acid right in your fucking eyes.
Exactly. It's hilarious, but it also instantly shows you how different they are. It sets up their whole dynamic perfectly from moment one.
Such a perfect setup. Classic grumpy meets sunshine almost. But then she does something interesting, doesn't she?
Yeah, it shifts a bit.
Because even though Bash is hating the world, he does this unexpected thing. He defends this poor, frazzled customer service representative from some angry guy.
Right. And he even throws Gwen's lemons line back, but like twisted into his own grumpy version. Something about not being an asshole to service staff when life gives you lemons.
Huh. And Gwen sees it. She's watching. And she doesn't just see the grump. She sees his strong moral compass, finds it glorious, apparently.
Which makes Bash super uncomfortable, of course.
Of course. But it's crucial, right? It shows us straight away there's more to him, and that Gwen, she can see past the surface. She gets people.
Exactly. It's not just about looks. It's like she recognizes something deeper in him.
Hmm.
And then Gwen, being Gwen, just ignores his obvious, serious, stay the fuck away energy.
Which must have been intense.
Oh, totally. and sits right down at his table in this crowded airport bar. She has these playful excuses like no bag, no phone, even jokes about needing to sage his house later for the bad vibes.
And Bash is just thinking, oh, great, more granola, woo-woo, make lemonade.
Salt of the earth shit.
Oh.
Yeah. But what Silver does so well is even while he's internally complaining, he's clearly intrigued. Or at least he can't just dismiss her. She's already getting under his skin.
And then they actually talk. Over lime margaritas, extra sour, nice detail. Bash reveals he's an aerial firefighter.
A hero, as Gwen puts it. Flying planes into fires. I mean,
Yeah.
wow.
Seriously. And she's a yoga instructor, travels around, works with pro sports teams. And what really hit me here was Bash's reaction to her job.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Gwen mentions her own dad never really, respected her career choice. But Bash, he just accepts it, quietly respects it, and that feels like a big deal for her, that early validation.
That's a really great point. That mutual respect, even when they're kind of clashing, it's there. And then comes that completely unexpected moment on the moving walkway.
Oh, the race.
Yeah. Gwen, being all silly and optimistic, wants to make memories, suggests a race. And Bash, this stoic, almost 40-year-old man, actually goes along with it.
I loved that bit. But it's not just fun and games, is it?
Not at all.
Yeah.
Because right in the middle of this silly race, Silver just drops this emotional bomb. Bash confesses, really vulnerably.
Silver, you found out I have a kid I never knew about. Met him for the first time yesterday.
Yeah. And that he's been torturing myself over this years. Suddenly, all that earlier grumpiness isn't just cynicism anymore. It's pain. The shock of finding out he's a dad and missed so much.
Wow, what a meet cute. It's got everything, the clashing personalities, the sparks, but then the sudden, deep vulnerability. It really sets the stage perfectly for all the complications to come. But that connection they made at the airport, it hits a wall almost immediately. And it's such a simple, frustrating thing.
Right. The phone number?
Bash, in his exhaustion or rush, writes her number down wrong. Just a small mistake, but huge consequences. Gwen thinks he just blew her off. Ghosted her.
Ugh, and that plays right into all her worst fears about herself, doesn't it? Those insecurities she carries. You're too big. You talk too much. Your optimism is obnoxious. It's heartbreaking how that perceived rejection just validates all that negative self-talk.
It really is. A perfect example of how miscommunication can just pour salt in old wounds, even for someone as outwardly sunny as Gwen.
Silver's really good at using those small plot points to reveal deeper character stuff.
Right.
But the real jaw-dropper comes later, obviously.
Oh, yeah. The party.
Gwen shows up at Tripp's birthday party as his girlfriend, only to find out that Bash is Tripp's biological father.
Talk about a shock.
Right, and Tripp's whole story about his dad being some deadbeat, it just completely falls apart. You realize it was this totally manipulated narrative. It's more than just a plot twist. It makes you think about how the stories we're told or tell ourselves can shape everything.
That party sounds like hell. A viper pit, the book calls it. Gwen sees Bash, and he's completely shut down like a closed-off prison cell. Cold, doesn't even seem to recognize her at first.
The tension must have been unbearable. And then they have that confrontation in the bathroom. Bash is just gutted, absolutely floored.
And Gwen's trying so hard to explain, I would have called. I never got your messages. You just feel the desperation from both of them, stuck in this impossible situation. Shock, betrayal, needing to be understood. It's intense.
And that bathroom scene really highlights Bash's massive conflict, this impossible choice he faces. He desperately wants this relationship with Tripp, his son, especially because his own dad abandoned him.
Right, that's huge for him.
Huge. But now, that desire is slamming right up against this undeniable pull he feels towards Gwen. And he's terrified, thinking, I can't fuck it all up by going after her. He thinks pursuing Gwen means losing his son.
It's such a heavy burden. That past trauma with his father is dictating everything.
Exactly. It shows how family history just looms over the present, forcing these awful choices.
So what about Gwen and all this? She gets it, logically, but emotionally.
Emotionally, she's crushed. It triggers all that old stuff, feeling like a burden, feeling not good enough, just like with her father.
Yeah, it's that classic romance novel moment where everything collides, the relationships tangle up, the ethical dilemmas pile on, and it hits right at their core sense of self-worth. Silver really puts their connection to the test here, against all this history and baggage, and then the story brings in Clyde, Bash's friend. Gruff on the outside, but clearly someone Bash cares about deeply.
Yeah, Bash calls him a big, broody, dutiful motherfucker, which sounds like an insult, but you can tell it comes from affection.
Totally. And Clyde needs a kidney, And Gwen, showing her true colors again, is immediately compassionate, brings some flowers at the hospital.
Clyde turns out to be pretty important, actually. Not just for his own storyline, but for Bash and Gwen. Because Gwen suddenly needs a place to stay, right?
Yeah.
Housing crisis.
Yep, and Clyde suggests she move into Bash's house while Clyde recovers there.
Ah, the classic forced proximity.
Exactly, but Silver makes it work. Bash is reluctant, obviously, sets up these ground rules for them being roommates.
But you can tell, from his internal thoughts, the rules are basically useless. He's already way too drawn to her. It shows him struggling, trying to keep that distance, but failing.
It's those moments of crisis that break down the walls, isn't it? Like when Bash comes back from fighting a really bad wildfire, he's just wrecked, physically and mentally.
And Gwen just steps up, takes care of him, uses lavender oil, creates this safe space, and it works. He actually opens up.
Yeah, he talks about wanting kids, the painful stuff with his ex-wife, admits he's too scared to even try again after being hurt so badly. It's a huge moment of vulnerability for him. He lets her see the real him.
But Gwen doesn't just coddle him. I mean, she's kind, but she's also strong.
Yeah.
She eventually gives him this ultimatum, basically.
What, where she calls him out?
Yeah, on his bluster, his emotional avoidance. She's like, I'm not going to tiptoe around this stuff anymore or feel guilty about Trip. She challenges him, tells him she might take a job in Costa Rica if he can't figure things out.
That takes guts. She's really pushing him.
She is. It makes you think, how much should a strong heroine push? Does the hero need that push to face his fears?
In this case, it seems like he did, because her pushing, plus his friends, especially Clyde, helping him see his fear for what it is, it starts to work.
They help him realize it's fear, not actual indecision holding him back, his paralysis, as they call it.
And then that text message from Gwen after another fire, so simple, but so powerful.
No, I do miss you.
It just melts him, right? That's when he decides, okay, I have to be better. It's a great example of how crisis plus emotional honesty, that courage from a partner, can really forge something stronger, facing the past to build a future. So after all that struggle, Bash finally starts making moves. Real, active choices towards Gwen.
About time.
Right. He plans the surprise birthday party for her, makes this incredibly elaborate breakfast, and he admits to himself, I wanted to do it. He even starts thinking of her as my girl.
Those little shifts are huge for a character like Bash. They're not just gestures. They show he's finally letting himself invest emotionally.
But of course, it can't be that easy. Trip shows up at the party.
Ugh, Trip. He brings this ridiculously expensive diamond tennis bracelet, makes these snotty comments, just proving he still doesn't get it. Or her.
And Gwen shuts him down perfectly.
Ugh.
That right there is proof that you don't know me at all. Boom.
So satisfying. Though later, Trip does kind of apologize, apparently nudged by Bash. And he sort of concedes defeat about Bash and Gwen, acknowledging how he'd been fed that deadbeat dad line. It's not a neat fix, but it's progress. The truth is starting to crack things open.
And then comes the birthday flight. Bash literally takes their relationship to new heights.
Nice one. Yeah, taking her flying is such a perfect gesture for them. And up there, in the plane, he finally just says it. My head's been in the gutter since the first time I laid eyes on you.
Raw and honest.
Totally. And things get physical, intimate in the plane, the hangar, his room. It cements that physical and emotional connection that's been building.
But the full truth still needs to come out, doesn't it? The whole story about Trip's parents.
Exactly. And it happens when Trip confronts them at the yoga studio. That's when it explodes the revelation that his adoptive parents deliberately lied, painted Bash as the bad guy who walked out.
Bash finally understands the extent of the manipulation. How much was stolen from him?
It's devastating. Trip storms off, angry, but he does give them that pained okay for their relationship. It shows that even huge lies can eventually come out, but man, the damage is real. Still, it clears the path.
And that leads to Bash's big declaration, his rock bottom almost. I can't live without you.
So simple, so powerful. And Gwen's response is just as strong. She didn't take the Costa Rica job. She's all in.
I'm staying here with you always. I need you to. And then she says, that's why I'm never waiting on you. I'm living with you.
I love that distinction.
Me too. And she brings back their limes and tequila thing from the airport bar, turns it into this symbol of their partnership. Like, whatever life throws at us, we'll handle it, make our own margaritas together. It's perfect.
It really ties everything together. And the epilogue, 1 year later, it just feels earned. Totally earned. They're married, expecting a baby girl. Bash built her this amazing yoga studio, lavender-painted, lake views, her own space to claim.
And the plane. He repaints his plane purple and indigo and names it Wild Card after her.
It's incredibly romantic.
Those symbolic acts of love just seal the deal. And his last thought, with you, it's never enough. It just shows the depth of it all, finding home, really finding it, in another person.
So that wraps up our deep dive into Elsie Silver's Wild Card. What a journey for Bash and Gwen, huh?
Yeah.
From that chaotic airport meeting, through all the trauma, the family secrets, the miscommunications, to finally building this life together. It really shows how opening up, communicating, facing your fears, how that's the path to finding where you belong, even when it's messy.
Absolutely. And looking at the bigger picture, Wild Card is such a great story about personal growth, right? And about how powerful unconditional love can be. It shows you that even really deep-seated stuff like insecurities, family problems, generational issues, they can be worked through. It takes courage, commitment, but it's possible. They build this future that's so much more real and fulfilling than anything they started with.
Definitely. It leaves you thinking.
It does. Maybe consider this. How often do those neat, sanitized storylines we hear, or maybe even the ones we tell ourselves about our own lives, kind of hide a truth that's way more complicated, but also ultimately more meaningful? And maybe embracing that full, messy truth the way Bash and Gwen have to in the end. Maybe that's what actually builds the strongest, most real connections we have. Something to think about.